Last time on local news,
This case is deeper in its intent and its scope than simply where children will attend school in Charlotte County.
WCNC was put to the test by a community divided over appealing the desegregation ruling, and by the unsolved murder of an 8-year-old child.
I mean, we say it's a 15-year-old. We're indicting that kid.
I can tell you this, there's not going to be an arrest today. Okay. That's not going to happen.
826 is dead.
It is entirely my fault for what happened, and I apologize to you for pushing too hard on that.
And coming up on local news,
The question is, and the answer we don't know is local regional or is local crime?
You got no motive, no physical evidence, no witnesses. They got nothing.
I suspect that local is crime.
What did the police say to you?
Oh, they said that they intend to prosecute me.
The police said they intend to prosecute you?
And we want you to bust everybody's balls at Channel 9 and Channel 3.
this program was made possible by support from the Ford Foundation, a resource for innovative people and institutions worldwide, the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the Jacob Burns Foundation and the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the road that been. What? 13 Hanger Road, Victor Air Wash, Battalion 3 17.
6 News.
10-4, he's calling. It's kind of an odd time of year for me, you know, I mean, it reminds me of all the things sometimes that haven't worked out in my life, like my marriage and that kind of stuff. It was a very lonely time. It just makes you think about all the things that could have been, should have been, whatever, you know. Oh well. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Cheers.
Family and honored guests.
Sirs, Mom, Dan, thanks for dinner.
Well, thank you for all
It's really good.
I'll never forget when he was 9 or 10 years old. He told me he was never going to be poor.
I think what he said was, I'm never going to be poor like you and Dad.
And he isn't poor.
You guys always encourage us to read
Right.
and to watch the news. Sit down, shut up, the news is on.
Yeah, so they know what's going on. Mainly because they didn't read newspapers except the sports section or the comics. And if you don't look at the news on TV, how are you going to know what's happening?
If you're not brought up to consider other people and to think about what happens or what doesn't happen to other people, then how are you going to know?
My very first work experience, I was 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted a paper route. But they gave me somebody else's paper route, and I didn't know any of these streets. It was like, you know,
Lost.
Chestnut Street and all that. So I was standing in the middle of town, crying. I don't know. So I called you on the telephone. I'm standing in the middle of town. I don't know. I'm gonna quit. I hate this. And you came. You walked downtown and said, "No, you're not gonna quit." You said you wanted a job. This is your job. And then you took me on the paper route, and we delivered the papers, and went home. And I think you made me soup.
Probably did.
Soup.
Yeah.
Probably, because it was
So,
winter time.
Yeah. I could never quit.
No?
No, he would never let us quit. This was my whole universe for about 18 years. Charlotte's built in some ways, you know, I mean, it seems like it's built with bankers' money, And in some ways, to me, that seems like easy money. This was hard money. This was hard earned. This whole part of the world worked very hard to make itself something. And, you know, I mean, there's a value of hard work, and you did the work, and you got paid for doing the work, and it all had meaning. Now it's completely closed down. And the idea of leaving all this behind was a big adventure and very scary, you know? And I can't imagine what would have happened with my life had I not left it all behind. Now that would have been scary. This used to be a great place to go sledding. I don't know if the kids still, yeah, it looks like there's some sled tracks on the hill. All right, go, kid, go.
You ever miss Ashtabula?
Huh, that's a good question. Not really. I miss my mother sometimes. I miss the closeness. I miss a sense of home sometimes. I think as much as I've moved in this business, it's nothing seems like home anymore. It all seems like an assignment, you know, like someplace that you're supposed to be to get something done. I miss that. Certainly don't miss 22 degrees and 22 inches of snow. But I miss that sense of community, something you try to replicate everywhere you go, and something you try to tap into and capture everywhere you go. Because, I mean, that's the sense of, if you're going to succeed in the news business, you've got to be able to find that sense of community. Here it was instinct. I mean, you knew instinctively what it was all about. As you go different places, you have to figure it out. I want to talk a little bit about the election and where we are with that. We need to give some time on our air, a finite amount of time, to the two main mayoral candidates, Scarborough and McCrory, and to the school board candidates.
School board will be the biggest thing here because of the desegregation.
How do we do that to make that fair for everybody? It seems like running them all at once, and maybe we run them between 5 and 6:30.
I mean, we know the interest level of it. You know, I know we have a responsibility too. You know, but I also want to be, you know, man. I just don't know. I mean,
because 2 minutes of a candidate just sitting there talking, in my mind, is not really news to me. It's more, it's their fair share of time on the air, which I also understand our need to do, but it's not a news element.
If you're talking about 14 minutes worth of candidates just yapping, well, I'm sure there are breaks in there.
Maybe it's a minute.
10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, pull selected sound bites, throw that in your show later on in the week.
you know, I think if we go through the week,
Well, hang on just a second. Just go back to the responsibility of the television station, first and foremost. I mean, you're licensed to serve your community. The best thing we can do is give people some information about the people they may vote for. I know it's not great television. I know that.
It isn't.
But let's do this one right, and everything else will fall into place.
Tape's on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1999 election debates.
And good evening. I'm Sterling Benson Weber, weekend anchor and education reporter from WCNC Television, NBC6. I am delighted to be your moderator for tonight's debate among candidates for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Board. Right now, we are ready to begin with our first question. Please state your name and your question for us tonight.
My name is Ruth Ellen Gill, and I'm the parent of a student at Elizabeth Traditional Elementary. My question is, if you're elected, what is your position on the status of the appeal, and would you pursue changing the vote as a member of the board?
This time, John Lasseter will start us off.
We should not appeal the case. We spent, I think, an inordinate amount of time in the courtroom that has created distraction for our superintendent, a distraction for our teaching staff, and obviously a distraction for the community. And it is, I think, a point where we as a community decide we're going to move forward and focus on the needs of children.
Okay, Arthur Griffin.
We all know in America, high concentrations of low-income minority students in a schoolhouse is just destined to failure. Is what their future looks like. There's absolutely no hope. We can't go back to all segregated schools in the center city and a few schools on the suburban rim of 485 being somewhat diverse. I'm absolutely committed to continuity and stability for all students, even if I have to defy the court's order and move us into another year, whether we get to stay or not.
Good evening. I'm Scott Jagow, and this is Fall Election Coverage 1999. We'll be providing results as they come in to us here at the Grady Cole Center. The contest that has drawn the most attention is the school board.
I swear, I tell you, Arthur's in trouble tonight. A lot of people don't believe that, but I believe he's in trouble. He needs a really big black turnout to offset what is going to be a large suburban turnout, and it just wasn't there. I mean, it's a good turnout. Black boxes are solid, but they're not solid enough beyond what the suburban boxes are to give him a win. He and others chose to make the appeal a line in the sand, and I think that ultimately is the gamble that we'll find out about tonight, you know, whether he wins or loses.
But he
There you go. Take a look at the numbers, folks. Read them and weep.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, let's go home.
No, Burgess. That's what.
All my predictions are correct right now with 1% in, so I'm going home.
All right,
I'll see
yeah.
you later. Right now, it's Lassiter, Gavreau, and Hazley, 1 through 3. And right now, Arthur and Wilhelmina are out of the money.
Hey, Pat, how you doing? Oh, you talking? Good. Hope things gonna go well. Well, we hope so. We hope so. We're here. How you doing, little lady? Hi. I'm Arthur Griffin, are you? Did you do kids voting today?
Well, I can't pay.
She got paid for you. Oh. Well, great. Well, we're gonna see how well we did here after a while. We're gonna win. All right. One way or another. We will. We will. I tell you, guy.
John Lasseter, Arthur Griffin, and Wilhelmina Rembert were all re-elected to the board last night. They say the voters have spoken and said they don't want to change the direction of the board, despite the recent desegregation ruling.
There's a lot of folks with passion on both sides of the issue, and quite honestly, we won't know how to handle that until the appeal is over and the stay issue is resolved. We'll know the stay issue probably within the next couple of weeks. That will dictate the steps we take as a community, and the appeal will probably continue. Go.
Way to go!
The school board's immediate challenge is to try to put politics aside at a time when the community needs to heal from the recent desegregation lawsuit.
We have worked together since 1992. And John and I, although we differ just a little bit on this lawsuit, we've been together almost every other issue as relates to children in public school and public education in Mecklenburg County.
If you do things the right way, you can still win. you don't have to succumb to TNA, Flash and Trash, Murder and Mayhem to win in this business. We've got to define our product in a way that's more relevant to the viewers. The Bilo way is really the way that our industry should go to bring people back to television news, to bring all those people back that we've offended and turned away. If you look at the great television news organizations in this country, none of them got there on a quick fix. They're smart people. They know that this is not going to be an overnight success story.
We had a severe cancellation from Food Line yesterday with 2 weeks' notice, so we can't really hold them to it. In fact, we're actually moving their spots back to Monday and Tuesday, but effective December 13th, we have about a $30,000 cancellation. So it's really going to hit us hard for December, but that's a heavy cancellation.
We've hit a plateau, so to speak. And if you look at retention value, retention in the first quarter hour from November back to February, because I've already done that analysis, is identical. Where we're getting hurt more as the second quarter hour. That retention is down. That's what's really hurt our numbers here.
I mean, I think we need to be thinking about ways that all of us can connect with real folks again. You talk about the media elite. We've our folks are real good, but some of them are real out of touch. I think we gotta think about ways that we can get out there and talk to those folks.
The issue is the context of it's got to pay off for sales and pay off for the news product or the news viewer as well. Even with our best efforts, well-intentioned efforts, good efforts, we've missed the boat quite a bit in terms of what it means to the ratings. Does it give us that big kick?
You're getting into resource issues, and we don't have the resources to do that right now.
Keith is right. On a daily basis, we are making meals, out of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we're really just scrambling, just trying to make the few things we have going now happen.
4 general assignment reporters and 3 or 4 photographers aren't going to get you enough stuff to do an hour and a half, and we need to look at these things creatively, which is why we do what we do.
I don't care. This is what we have to do. In spite of what we have resources-wise, it's not about a body. It's about something, okay, to implement big, I want to do this. To implement that, I've got to do this. I mean, everything we do has got to meet certain things. It's got to meet big, it's got to meet local, it's got to meet community, and in that context, then it's great.
Excuse me, that's not the point, and you're right on with that. That's a philosophy, and we're not talking about philosophy here. We're talking about fulfilling the need to get done the task at hand, and I charge you and you with that issue. These folks are having a difficult time getting things accomplished, and that's not the way any of this was set up. We've always, when we needed something, we found a way to either buy it or hire that person by redeploying resources and doing whatever was necessary. We can't have this as an inhibitor to the product with all that we've done here.
We're going to have to figure out something reporter-wise here.
We knew it was going to take us a while here, and nothing's really changed. But be that as it may, there needs to be growth next year. If it doesn't happen, then you begin, I think, to go back and evaluate where you went wrong. And that's either the plan, or the people, or the presentation. And you need to jump back in there and find out where it is that you're not realizing full potential.
This is 6 News at 5.
It is the largest school system in North Carolina. More than 100,000 students. Now, every child in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area has the potential of being assigned to a different school. Grab a pen and paper. We have information you can't afford to miss. Good evening. I'm Kelly Ryan. And I'm Sonia Gant.
We don't have time to wait to see if he's going to approve that. So we're planning to have all of these changes in place by the start of school. We have differentiated staffing in some schools, which creates smaller class sizes in schools with the most low-income students.
Although Art and Kim Menzer
I
have
feel
years
good about what we've
before
been doing, especially with all the resource issues we have.
Mike Rennie, 6 News. Who killed Justin Noir Luter? It's been 13 days since his body was found, and police have still not been able to make an arrest.
NBC6 reporter Glenn Counts joins us live from the neighborhood. Glenn, have Justin's parents spoken publicly about this issue?
Well, no, they have not spoken publicly, but one of the biggest challenges his family faces is waiting for police to do their job and make an arrest.
It's a terrible thing, and that's been a big story here for 2 weeks now.
Tentative deal of $1.6 million.
The off the record is that it's someone in the neighborhood, probably a 15-year-old kid. You know, we don't know if that'll wind up being the deal.
Can't tell you. Reporting live from Southeast Charlotte, Glenn Counts, 6 News.
As a former sheriff's deputy goes on to offer...
I was a little concerned. I kept feeling that here was one more opportunity, just one more reporter, or one more live shot, or one more thing to break it up and give more of a presence in there and a difference.
If you think about what defines sort of the Belo way, about 90% of that is Marty's way, maybe more.
There wasn't a camera change, there wasn't a, although you did do some wipes or something like that when you did a succession of,
you know, it is
VOs. But
what he teaches and preaches.
The thing that drives me nuts more than anything else is if a reporter
He
ends
has
a
very
live
high
shot
expectations of himself and those around him. I mean, I hope that someday I can be half as good as what he was, which would be pretty damn good.
Maybe there ought to be a sign in the control room that says, "Keep it fluid, stupid." I mean, just so that you get a sense that this is still something that you're on the air and you are, you know, you're giving the news for a whole hour.
For a station in your position, you've got to pay special attention to the lead story. I think that lead story and the headlines coming into the lead, that first few minutes of the newscast, I mean, obviously you always have to do that in a metered market, but for you guys in particular, and for this program in particular, that lead has to be really produced. For example, the lead on this update on Justin, and Marty noted in his notes on it, I thought Glenn's energy was very low. I thought the story just kind of laid there. It didn't have any oomph to it.
And he pitched the package, and it was
Beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just didn't roll right when you want to get it.
We went through this whole story without ever referencing visually the kid. He finally showed up, the picture of the child finally showed up at the end of the newscast, I think, teasing the 6 o'clock.
If you can create a sense of that this is a work in progress, and that there's still more news and there's more stuff still to come.
Viewers just don't have as much patience. You know, they're not going to sit through a longer story as they might on another. So you have to keep, as Marty says, you have to keep giving them stuff.
Hey, big man. How are you?
All right. Everybody's pointing me in your direction. So
My direction.
You are the guy to give me the to.
Deal. Here's what we want to do today. First part of the day, anyway. Obviously, we want to stay on the story. And I know it's getting dry out there. People tired of seeing these trucks, these cameras, and everybody in their neighborhood. Yeah. We're sending you out there, Glenn. We're sending you out, just you. Walk around, do whatever you have to do. Know the lay of the land in that neighborhood. So every house number, I don't know if you need to just take a map and go ahead and make yourself a little individual map of how many houses, where his house is. And so when they make an arrest, whichever house it is, however far it is from that house, let's kind of have a lay of the land. We want to go out and maybe call the investigators and see, what's taking them so long, just without the camera.
Just without the camera. Taking them so long? They don't have jack.
They don't have it.
You got no motive, no physical evidence, no witnesses. They got nothing. That's what's taking them so long. They are stumped. This has all the markings of a case that won't ever be solved.
John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Can you get somebody? How can we take that tonight? Where can we take that to tonight?
It's John Benet Ramsey.
Maybe and if this guy say that, hey, you know what? This could be the makings of it.
The other thing about this too is that I know we've done all this talk about this 15-year-old kid, and they've been there and done that. He hadn't lawyered up. His parents have been completely cooperative. They have talked to him for hours. They're not going to officially say it's not him until they get all this forensic stuff back. But for all practical purposes,
I think we
Nada.
need to try to find a way to say they have nothing, they lost. I mean, I don't know who can say it.
You had a house that was under construction. There was nothing blocking anybody going in and out of that house. It was wood frame, dusty. You know, exactly, that is a terrible situation to gather evidence.
You know, it's frustrating, it's mysterious, I mean, that needs to be told.
Man, you will be the next Dan Abrams. If we can try to get something new for 11 o'clock, I'm talking about I want something, I think we have to just hit it.
I wouldn't be surprised if that case is never solved. Yeah. It's so sad, too. Oh, that's not gonna help us. Oh my gosh. No way. When? Right, exactly. And yeah, they can't hold that against you. They will. Well, look what happened to me. All right.
For the community, Justin's death has brought neighbors closer. This afternoon, sources say the investigation is moving in a very positive direction. Ellison Welton works with Kinderborn, a privately funded group helps parents deal with the loss of children. Welton says wanting to knock down the house where Justin was found is a natural reaction.
Okay. Yeah, Dan. Okay, by what time did this happen today? You said you had already had a conversation with Glenn. What was he doing inside the home, do you know? Trespassing. Alright. Let me go ahead and see. I know he's doing a live shot at probably like a couple minutes. Let me go out here as soon as he finishes doing this live shot. Let me touch base with him and then give you a call back, all right? Thanks a lot. I appreciate you calling me.
He's off now, and you folks are going to... All right, $49 every invoice every...
Pretty much, here's his story. You know, a couple of days ago, they said they asked Glenn to not, go onto the property of the house where Justin was found, where Justin's body was found. Not to go into the property at all. So today they say, they came up, they pulled up, Glenn was leaving, and they demanded that Glenn was already off the property by the time they got there, but somebody had told them that Glenn had been shooting, and they told Glenn they wanted the tape. Obviously, Glenn didn't give them the tape or whatever. They told him they wanted the tape. The police came, took down Glenn's information, shut out all Glenn's information as if, and this guy sounds like, he doesn't get a tape or whatever, he'll file trespassing, charges against Glenn.
Glenn?
Hey.
How are you?
All right.
Okay. Tell me where we are here.
Okay. Well, right now we're on a public street. They haven't shown back up. The police did come here. I gave them my information.
What did the police say to you?
Oh, they said that they intend to prosecute me.
The police said they intend to prosecute you?
Not they, but the
Yeah.
developer.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line is, there's no trespassing sign. They never said anything specifically about the property that we were on. The only property that they've said anything specifically about is the house where the 8-year-old kid's body was found.
Okay, what did you do inside the house?
Shut up, stand up.
Okay?
Did not reference the company.
What's the importance, if you're not referencing this area, what is the importance of being in that house versus another house under construction? Or is this just a matter of convenience?
There is none.
Okay? I guess my feeling is the chances of generating more ill will among the neighbors in the neighborhood, I'm not even worried about the builders. I just think that we're in a situation where we don't want people to see us as being ugly, argumentative, difficult.
Yeah, I understand all that. There was no one else around when this took place. There wasn't any kind of a nasty, ugly public exchange.
No, I'm with you on all that. What I'm afraid of, though, I mean, if it gets into the papers, NBC6 reporter, cited for trespassing in the area, it just...
Well, I got a feeling that may happen anyway. From that guy, I think he is adamant about
well, I'll call him and talk to him,
taking out a warrant on it.
Well,
I don't think he's going to hear it. I hope you're right.
Well, I'll call him and talk to him. Is this Dan Willamere?
He wouldn't give me his name.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna call this guy and talk to him. If they decide they want to press charges, they can press charges. We don't need to compound any damage we might do in the neighborhood by using that. Let's just, after you do your 6, we just need to go find a place, someplace else, and shoot your same stand-up.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
So I may end up being on outside of the house or something.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks, Glenn.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know if I push him to this or not. I was like, look, get to the police, get out there knock on doors, go find something. I don't know if I push him to it or not,
Oh, I wasn't worried about that. I wasn't worried about that at all. I mean, that's not... That's not...
trying to get him to go get something different, go beat the street,
I mean, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, we just shouldn't... You shouldn't go in somebody's... Yeah, I mean... There's some areas that are kind of gray, shopping malls, schools, but, better to be cautious. There's no reason. I guess I just, at this point in my life, it's pick your battles. If this was a big deal, if this was, if you're fighting for a journalistic right and all that kind of stuff, but don't fight just to fight. Just don't fight just because you know you can win, Dan, hi, my name is Keith Connors. I'm the news director at NBC6. I understand you called for me earlier. How can I help you? Well, I'm not in a position where we can give you the videotape. That's just general standard station policy. I can tell you that we've told them not to use any video that was shot in the home. Well, I hope you don't see that is your only course of action. I think, in this world, a man's word is worth something, and you have my word that we're not going to put that videotape on the air. Well, you're talking to me. Dan, I report to Rick Kilty. He's the president and general manager. But it's the policy of this company and this television station. Rick's at 329-3654. That's his, I don't know if he's still here or not, but I can tell you that he will tell you the same thing. We will not give you that videotape. Well, I don't think I can change what's happened. I can tell you that we won't go onto your property in the future without an invitation, and I can tell you that we will not air that videotape. Okay.
Without going over the top, you need to up the energy level and aggressiveness and down-to-earth quality of the newscast.
They credit WSOC with, if I'm not mistaken, with local news. I change because I get more local news. Well, they don't do more newscasts than we. What is it that they have that, if you compared their product to ours, what is it that they have
they do a real good job of geographically, it's not a big story, but man, they get everywhere every day.
Maybe this is hokey as hell, but all it takes is just one full-frame board at the top of the broadcast where you clearly identify what you think the big deal is. It affords you the opportunity to say the big local story tonight is, the big local, every night, you know, you're leading off and you're saying, you know, so-and-so is meeting at this hour to assign. The big local story is the reassignment plan for Charlotte schools. And just say big local story, big local story, big local story.
And I like the word local in there, Marty. I think that has so much more oomph to it.
That's what you're wanting to say, and I mean, you can, and if you guys can reinforce with promotion and product, just drive that damn word local in a very unsubtle way, try to pound that idea into people's minds. So
Great urgency. And urgency is here is local, therefore that place.
No, that is so hard for me to get. You know, it's this big thing out there, and I can't see how, aside from doing more newscasts, covering more stories, getting to more places.
If you look at this localism, and Ron, you can double check me on this in the data book, but where the local drives strongest in terms of interest, crime follows. The question is, and the answer we don't know is local regional, is local crime? And I suspect that local is crime.
Having sort of stuck my neck out with Bilo on this issue, I'll leave it out there. I think it's an important issue in the community. I think you've got to cover it. And my vision of how it should be covered is the whole issue of criminal justice, and are bad guys getting paroled and, you know, on the streets when they shouldn't be. In other words, really getting beneath the surface on crime and saying, okay, are we safe? And if not, why not? And who's responsible? And
I agree. And I think that crime is something that you really need to concentrate on. And we're talking about solutions to crime, not just the murder du jour. Because it seems to show up in overall profiles. It seems to resonate, if whatever the word is, with several of the groups that we're trying to recruit from. And I think we ought to just flat out say, this is something that we want to do. There are certain mores, standards that you associate with a Bilo newscast, but they're not all the same. They vary from market to market. You know, I think we ought to go out and find the best crime reporter that we can get.
But finding the right person is no easy task. They don't exist on staff. I mean, Glenn is not the guy, I don't think. I wish he was. Maybe he could be, frankly. Maybe he could be. But so far, what I see of Glenn's work, it doesn't meet this test. Is what you need to do to punch through.
It's really someone who is,
we want to bulldog,
investigative crime almost in a sense.
The kind of shoe leather street reporter who really
Question is how some construction
covers the
You talked about
I don't
before
know.
about
crime issue.
Cromwell's and the guys in the jacket up in the news.
I told him, okay, don't, whatever we do, don't put any of that video.
I agree. The way to get to this thing is to, you know, this is one of the most significant beats we have in this shop. And we want you to bust everybody's balls at Channel 9 and Channel 3.
This is what we chose to do as a vocation, as a career, as a life. We chose not to sell shoes. We chose to be in the news business. I'd be lying to you if I told you this last year was easy. I don't know anybody here who tell you that. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't wish the ratings were growing faster. I don't know anybody who doesn't wish for that. But there is one thing I am so proud of, and that is the quality of the work that you are putting out on a consistent basis. I think the reporting that Glenn and Alicia and a number of you did is commendable of what a truly top-rated news organization needs to be about. I think the ownership we've taken of the school assignment plan and the job that Sterling has done in leading that is outstanding. I don't think it's a mistake that we had more Emmy nominations than any other station in the market and the third most of any station in the region. I don't think that's a mistake. That speaks to the quality of the work you're doing. We can't all make art every day, but we can tell good stories, find good stories, dig deeper, work harder, and do better. And you have done that this year. I thank you for that. And I wish you in the new year continued success, health, happiness, peace, and some joy. And I wish for myself, selfishly, I have the opportunity to spend another year working with all of you.
I'm Sonia Gann reporting from the largest party in Charlotte. Thousands are expected down here at the Uptown Downtown Countdown. Right now we've got music going on 3 stages, and about 11:40 tonight they will begin. Folks heading to the Uptown Downtown celebration are gearing up for fireworks and laser shows. Stay with
I just hope whatever is going to happen, it'll be a better year overall for me. Because if not, I may not be in this business next year. I don't like that because I enjoy the work so much. I'm not like at the point of not liking my work. I still love my work.
The Federal Appeals Court granted the school board a stay of the desegregation ruling. In September, federal judge Robert Potter ordered the school system to totally dismantle 30 years of using race-based student assignments by next year. But the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond overruled Judge Potter and said a rush by CMS to make the mammoth changes mandated by the injunction could cause irreparable harm to children.
It truly gives this community the time it really needs to make sure that we don't have 2 school systems, one black, one white, one for rich kids and one for poor kids.
Well, the school board chairman tells me that this ruling means the school board will likely scrap the newly approved student assignment plan and come up with a new plan, which means thousands of students would not be reassigned next year.
I guess if I were on the end team, I wouldn't worry about it, but I'm not. So I want it to be more just a fair, even playing field. You're judged on your merit in terms of your work. I think that's what anybody wants. And my review was just really not very, it was really, as a matter of fact, you know how they give you the scale of like 5 being the best and then 1 being the, they had circled 1 on me showing respect for others, which was never. And then they scratched it out and said, okay, 2 on my review. Can you believe that I disrespect people? I mean, that is unheard of. So I'm gonna have to check out books and tapes from the library. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. I mean, that just cut to the core of me as a person. I just could not believe it. Never in any of my reviews have I ever had anybody say something like that. But they're in charge, I'm not. So, I don't know. But I'll try to do better.
I guess you have to have thick skin to be in this business. Kelly, people are just now starting to show up in this war room. All kinds of people, city, county, business leaders. We will be here all night. When I was taken off the anchor desk, there were moments where my heart sank, you know, when I saw myself erased from promos that had been airing. But you can dwell on the tough moments, or you can dwell on what's good. Reporting live from North Charlotte, Alicia Booth, 6 News.
That's okay, Alicia. We'll take that.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot.
It's strange how it worked out. I'm flying to Cleveland on my 8-year anniversary. There's not a whole lot holding me here, and it's a great opportunity. Gotta take it. There's just no doubt in my mind. And this is great. I love the internet. I mean, it's great. I can see what's going on. By the time I get to Cleveland, I'll know what some of the big stories are. I know I'm going to miss people here terribly, but you can adapt anywhere. I mean, I don't think it matters what the weather is or who the people are, because you find the right people that you're comfortable with, that you want to be with. And one thing I've learned, it's a lot easier to leave than to be left. A lot easier.
Well, it's been a very quiet night, and that's music to the ears of the law enforcement community. In fact, even the number of traffic accidents is below what a normal Friday night would be. And of course,
BELO has 17 TV stations, and what they're doing is they're splitting up the management of those 17 TV stations into 3 different groups.
Reporting live from the Law Enforcement Center, Glen County 6 News.
Rick, I've known Rick since he was at KHOU years and years ago. And I figured with his time in the corporation, it was just a matter of time until he got moved up into something else.
You could argue that this may not have been the most opportune time to be making a change of this consequence. The television station in a community is if you think of it just as a regular established business, and it's not good to be changing people at the top very often. But sometimes the circumstances just require you to be in that kind of a cycle, and I think BELO is there. It would be their choice not to do that.
Unfortunately, they hardly ever consult me about who should be running things. I figure I can barely run the newsroom, so I'll do that and just try to stay out of trouble. There's always a bit of uncertainty whenever there's a change at the top, but I don't think there's going to be any change in general philosophy. And once they fire the news director, and you know, that's usually kidding, I hope. But no, I think it's a great thing for him. I don't know. I can always find a job. I'm a pretty decent bartender. I can drive a tow motor. I can write a pretty good story. Sometimes I can tell a pretty good story. I gave up a long time ago worrying about it. You know, if it doesn't work out, I'll find another gig. You know, hope it does. Like it here. It's a great place. Really good people. Feel like we're just getting started. And I think whoever comes in to run this place is going to understand that.
All right, here we go, folks. A minute out. Hey, camera 1, can you run over and give me something different? Because 2 and 3 are shooting about 2 years.
We'll go 3-2 Air Star, and then we'll come back to Times Square, and then if they're still in that, we'll go back and forth.
All right, we'll just stick with it. We're riding like a pony.
Yeah.
I'll go to 3, then I'm going to go to 1, then I'm going to go to 2. Just hold everything you got on your fiber cams. Stand by. Here we go, folks. There you go.
That's sweet. That is so sweet.
There, Air Star crowd shot. Stand by, Air Star.
Everybody go back to Air Star.
Give me some different people.
We're hot. You're hot.
Oh, jumping dude, yeah. Give me a big cover. Give me the big cover on 3.
My first hug of 2000s from Anzio.
Come on, man. Kiss her, come on. That's a sweet shot. That's sweet. Go back to Charlotte right there, baby. Yeah, baby. That's nice. That's nice.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
I love TV.
Finale. Stand by. We're coming back to you. We're hot. You're hot.
Another shot. Go back to, yeah, that's it. That's it. Hold the crowd.
2000.
Hang on. Stay on the 2000. Stay on. Okay. Yep. Go back to Charlotte.
Dissolve at the network.
All right. We're back on network. We're done, guys.
All right.
We're done. Good work. Very good.
Power back.
Very good. Very good. Great job. Great job. Good job.
You're awesome. You're right. We're at network now. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good job. Good job. We're back at 25. Good job, man.
Happy New Year.
Good job. Good job. Happy New Year, buddy.
Good.
Great job. Great job. Great job. Good work. Okay. We're back at 25. Happy New Year. Good job, everybody.
Hey, happy New Year to you too. Good job in there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was cool. Nice job in there. I know you had something to do with that.
You're not supposed to be on the phone.
Okay. I'm talking to my wife.
No, that's why all the phone lines are tied up. That's the story. All the phone lines.
But the phone lines are
Happy
tied
New Year,
up.
Lorraine. Happy New Year.
He tried to slip me the tongue.
Me, though.
Yeah. How about that? A plan worked the way we planned it.
You did great, kid. Happy New Year.
It's huge. I mean, it just made me feel like we just took that next step, you know. Everyone's sauced everywhere. And like one Channel 9 camera, one channel, you know, BTV camera, like.
The other guys then ran a tape of the fireworks show on ABC, and BTV was about 8 after when they went on with their coverage. We looked fabulous.
Desk, are we done with Mike's shot?
Yeah, he's breaking down. Dan, are you talking to Mike Redding? Negative, Michael. I'm talking with the hospital.
Me too. It's been fun, man. God bless you too. Take care of yourself now.
I was trying to avoid this.
We are the people of today's 6 News.
We'll be in touch, most definitely. Thanks again.
All right, sir. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you also. Very much. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
I'm saying to you, we have to continue to make our case we're going to repeat history if we continue to sit back with regard to making it known to this community what those needs are.
Police continue to canvass the neighborhood. Phone calls to police have so far not given investigators the break they need.
Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I've never worked with you. You're all right.
Well, of course, by the time this hits the air tonight, well,
No,
promise you
yeah,
anything,
no,
but-
yeah, true, true.
Good night, everybody.
Audience says no big deal, just so you know. Thanks again.
Speed Street festivities are causing some traffic tie-ups.
Homes like these without gas appliances are
Still, you can never be too safe by having one. And Action 9 reporter Don Griffin has more now and joining us now from the phone center.
Wilson's daughter says that
Cannon Mills operations. 30 million American men have erectile dysfunction, which is about 1 in 5.
Beautiful evening for those
For
the
historic
moment. And coming up next on the news at 6.
This program was made possible by support from the Ford Foundation, a resource for innovative people and institutions worldwide. The John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the Jacob Burns Foundation, and the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.